Welcome to Bulk to Hulk episode 5, and this is also going to be the finale of the series as the 12 weeks have passed, but it also continued on another 4 weeks. But we're going to share the results from week 0 to week 12 and beyond that to week 16 to show you guys just how sustainable this method of cutting is. Starting with the results, we're going to compare the weight of week 0 to week 12 to week 16, right? Starting with week 0, we started at 141.7, we came all the way down to 129, and as of 2 days ago, 123.4, which is week 16. Secondly, we've got some clothes that we're going to try on that haven't fit very well during the peak of my bulk, and we're just going to compare how they feel on me and how they look on me. And this is also a really good method for comparing just how much weight you've lost. Because a lot of times you're looking in the mirror every single day, you don't feel like, oh my god, I didn't lose any weight. But when you try on clothes that you haven't put on in a while, or clothes that just never fit you right, and all of a sudden they're fitting well, that's a great sign. Starting off with the infamous blue shirt, right? This is the one I wore in the last video. I was still pretty high in the bulk, right? But as we can see here, this fits a lot better and isn't so tight against my body anymore, as there's not as much fat as there used to be. Test number 2 is this hoodie. I have not worn it in any videos, mainly because the last time I wore it, it was hanging on by all of its threads to keep it together. But this fits 10 times better as it used to be. Alright, now we're going to go to jeans, because I have not worn jeans in over like a year because they never fit me. I had to always walk around with one button popped open just for my stomach to breathe. Alright, now we got the pants on, and as you can see, these fit a lot better. And I can actually get the button on, and it was very easy to do so. Let's hope the second pair of pants works as well. Alright, pant test number 2. Same idea. Button went on like nothing, and there's so much extra room right now on these pants. It feels amazing. Guys, another helpful tip really is just seeing how your clothes sizes may even change. For pant numbers, you may go down. Shirt sizes, you may go down, right? From my peak of my bulk, I went all the way from an extra small to a medium. I'm now back to chilling at a small. So this feels great, especially to fit into the clothes you didn't fit into for a really long time. So how did I get there, right? So we have 2 really big components. These 2 big components are nutrition and cardio, right? Training is also very important, but I'm going to talk about that later, right? Cardio-wise, you guys need to be doing 3 to 5 times a week. You guys have to be doing minimum 30 minutes of cardio, especially when you start reaching like, past week 10 or something, or week 8. The weight loss is very easy at the start. It gets a lot more difficult, You can get away with less cardio and worse nutrition when you're just at the start of a cut, because that little bit is all you really need to keep it going, and that's perfectly fine. But you really need to lock in for those heavier weeks, week 8 and beyond, right? So for me, cardio, I hate doing cardio. But the way I found it as is you got to really find your favorite forms of cardio and or a goal-based cardio. For me, I hate running. I hate it with a passion. But I really said I've never ran more than 2 miles in my life before. So I said, you know what? I don't know why I'm always so scared of running. I really want to run and do as many miles as I can. Now, as of today, I hit 8 miles this morning, right? 7 miles last week, yada, 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 the whole thing. But this method really helped me put in a lot of extra cardio into my routine. So I usually like to do 1 long run, right? And then I like to do maybe 2 half runs, like, whatever my goal is for the week, I split that in half and do that twice again later in the week. On those days that I'm not doing cardio, right, I do martial arts or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. These are like 1-hour classes each, and sometimes they're back-to-back, so I'm getting in another 2 days of 2 hours of cardio. And then the other days, right, I'll just do like a light 30 minutes cardio on like the Stairmaster, or like I'll jump rope or something. It's about finding the things you enjoy, right? If someone's going to tell me I got to do Stairmaster or incline walking on a treadmill for 30 minutes to an hour every single day, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to follow through with it. You need to find the cardio that you like to do. All right, the second biggest component, right? That second biggest component is going to be nutrition. You need to get nutrition on point, once again, after like weeks 8 and beyond, week 6 and beyond, depending on where you are, how aggressively you're cutting, right? I'm going to throw down a bunch of the foods I've eaten through this cut, but all it is to show is that you don't need to eat quote-unquote clean. It doesn't need to be just white rice, chicken, and broccoli every single day, right? It doesn't need to be that meal prep type of food every single day. You can experiment with a lot. As long as your calories are below your maintenance, you're going to be perfectly fine. For me, I probably started off eating around 2,200 calories at the start of the cut. Now I'm eating around 1,400 on the days I do those long cardio days. Like I said, 7-mile runs or 2 hours of martial arts and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm eating probably around 2,000-ish, 1,800 to 2,000-ish calories that day. And I get to eat all the foods I love. And honestly, I've enjoyed this entire process. Yeah, there were moments where I was like, do I really want to barely eat any of this food? But it is really important. Another really helpful tip that helps me in the deeper parts of the cut is I'm not a big fan of measuring and all, but there is going to be a point where just having measuring cups or little teaspoon, tablespoon measuring things is very helpful. And it helps you just understand rough estimations of certain amounts of calories, just so you can keep it in your head and be aware of it. We have to be aware of how many calories are in a certain thing, but we don't need to be like hyper aware. Like it doesn't matter about the extra, little chunk of rice that accidentally got added, or a little bit of extra, so-and-so thing. Still enjoy the food you're eating, enjoy the food you're making, buying, whatever it is, but just be aware of where your calories are coming from, right? Always try to eat as healthy as possible, right? We want to take out as many sugars, soft drinks, junk food, all that stuff. But every now and then it's perfectly fine. I do the same thing. When I like to go off track of the diet, what I do is I just get like veggie chips or, some like dark chocolate. That's perfectly fine. Finding alternatives like this. I talked about these alternatives in the nutrition video earlier. But yeah, you can honestly enjoy whatever food you want to, as long as it's number one in moderation. The biggest thing is don't overeat. Once I overeat during a meal, I know, all right, maybe I'm eating a little bit too much than my body needs. All right, the last component, training. We are going to keep training the exact same. I've got some training clips probably playing. I didn't record a lot of training clips, but I've got some that are recorded. Training is meant to be kept exactly the same. There's no such thing as 15 reps is more superior. There is no, 15 reps isn't meant to tone. There's no magical number of reps that all of a sudden helps you tone. But remember, the goal of working out is not to burn calories, or the goal of resistance training is not to burn calories. The goal of resistance training is to build and or maintain the muscle that you have, right? Cardio's job is to burn calories. That's when we care about how many calories am I burning, is when you're doing cardio, not when you're working out. So if you train with, say, 8 to 12 reps, 4 sets, 3 sets, 2 sets, I don't care what your rep range is, anything from 5 to 30 is going to stimulate muscle growth as long as you're going to failure. But yeah, keep training the exact same. That's why it's not as important. But as long as you're training each muscle group twice a week, you should be perfectly fine. Sleep, super important. Guys, especially when you're cutting, when you're sleeping, that is when your body's recovering from all the damage. And when you have less resources, less calories for your body to recover with, you need more sleep. Minimum 6 hours. Don't cut it any short, because there's no point in only eating 1,500 calories when your maintenance is 2,000 and you're only getting 2-3 hours of sleep. Guys, you need to get your sleep. It is super important. It helps recover. It helps you feel better for the workouts, for your cardio, for everything. So you're probably asking yourself, I'm a complete beginner. Or if you are a complete beginner, where do I start with this cut? Say you've been working out for a while, you put on some muscle, but you also put on a little bit of fat, but now you really want to cut. You want to get summer shredded. Where do you start? You have to start with whichever of the 3 that you're really, really good with. If you love to train like me, all right, start off with training. Get really consistent with training each muscle group 2 times a week first, right? Then slowly add in that cardio. Maybe weeks 1 through 4 is just you getting used to training. All right, next week, let's focus on cardio. That's a weak point of mine. Let me add in maybe a 30-minute cardio session every week and slowly add it up over time and explore different types of cardios. All right, last part, nutrition, right? Yeah, I really suck at getting in my protein, right? We need to get in that protein. All right, let's start by making and finding recipes and meals that I can really easily make, that I enjoy the taste of. You can do all of these things step by step by step. It doesn't need to be all at once, right? You can get great results, doing everything all at once, all from the get-go, and you'll get great results. But at the same time, how sustainable are those results? That's the biggest question, right? You see all these transformation videos, these guys, they look absolutely shredded now. Yeah, for that time being. And then they let go of their habits because they're impossible to hold all together when you start it all at once. But if you slowly build these habits, right, you can sustain this for an extremely long time, right? We ended at week 12, right, for this experiment, but I felt I needed more time because I took my time, as I should be doing. So now we're in week 16. I still feel great. I'm only eating 1,500 to 1,200 calories a day. It doesn't bother me. Like, I'm still getting in all my protein. I'm getting in 120 plus grams of protein every single day. I'm still getting in my carbs, my fats. I'm still doing a lot of cardio. I'm still training hard. I feel great. I'm getting in my sleep and everything. But yeah, that will conclude this video. And I really hope that any part of the series helped you out. But before we end it, actually, let's just go over the core concepts, right? So if you're cutting, nutrition-wise, right? Don't overeat. Protein-wise, have at least 1 gram per pound of lean muscle mass that you have. So eat around 0.8 to like 1.2 grams of protein. You'll be perfectly fine. Cardio-wise, 3 to 5 times a week for at least 30 minutes. Training, keep training exactly the same. And get in as much sleep as you can. We're aiming for 8 hours, 6 hours minimum. If you have all of these all together, there's a guaranteed no way you're not going to lose the fat and the weight, because if you're in a deficit, if you're doing the extra cardio in case you slip up with the deficit, and you're training hard in the gym, and you're training hard in the gym, it's utterly impossible to not be losing the weight. And keep yourselves accountable. You know, just be aware of what you're eating, aware of where the calories are coming from. Cheat days are perfectly fine. I had a bunch, and you guys could tell by the food. Like, I ate so many different types of food. I'm still eating my food. Just this morning, I had like rice and tikka. Like, guys, it doesn't need to be only clean food. Now, I will say, if you're prepping for a bodybuilding show or if you're a model, you know, completely different story. But this video is for the people who are just trying to get lean in a sustainable, long-term manner.